There's a lot going on in the bottom of your garden, a bustle of life that has all too often been overlooked, but not by some. In the lush climes of southern New Zealand, a man known as the Dirt Doctor started an experiment, a simple experiment, but one with profound implications for us all.
Welcome to my patch. When I bought this place, I deliberately purchased the worst damaged agricultural piece that I could find to see what we could do to recover it from a biological perspective. That's all.
Jim set out to prove that any piece of dirt could be doctored into impressive productivity, feeding people across the globe for no money and with no waste. And it worked. Jim transformed his toxic land to one fit for a king, well, a queen, and her entourage. In fact, the past 3 times the royals came to visit New Zealand, they requested his produce for the private royal suite.
People love coming here for the food. It tastes great, and that's what I'm selling. I'm not selling food, I'm selling flavour. And that's what they buy. That's why the chefs come. That's why they're buying for Government House. Live like a peasant, eat like royalty. I love it.
Lush salad greens, radishes bursting with flavour, monstrous heads of broccoli. The things we'd love from our own gardens. But we go about it all the wrong way. From what we put into our gardens to what we take away. It's the simplest of things that Jim is doing differently. But most different is his approach to composting, garden waste and weeds.
If I was a standard family gardener, I would pull this out, strip all the dirt off and throw the top away, which is the normal thing. That's the worst thing you can do. By cutting it off just below ground level, you're reabsorbing the green as a mulch on top and allowing the roots to collapse. And as they collapse in the ground, they're forming micro channels for water to go down through and for nutrients to be reabsorbed into the soil.
An estimated 60% of our landfills are made up of our garden waste. But it's this very waste that is nature's ready-made answer to feeding our gardens.
This is a bed I'm preparing now to put my tomatoes in, and what I've done is taken the potatoes out and left all of the trash on top of the soil, and I'm going to now prepare to reassimilate that back in the bed and get it ready for planting.
By putting the waste from each crop back into the soil, Jim doesn't need to rotate the types of crops he plants. He grows tomatoes immediately after potatoes, without risk of disease or loss of nutrients in the soil. Jim's approach to growing his soil is at the cutting edge of science practice, and at its core is compost.
One of the biggest mistakes that people make is trying to have too much green, such as lawn clippings or animal poo, and as a result they get their plants at the other end of it come out with huge leaves and not much of a crop. Too much nitrogen. It's as simple as that. And the remedy is simple. 6 inches, that's that height there, the 2 hands of brown material, that much there of green material, and a tiny sliver you can see through of animal manure and soil, and if you can, ash on top of it. Once it cools down, you can open it up yourself and you'll see most of your twiggy matter, if you've got it right, you'll find it running with fungi, and you'll see there's little dots of bacteria all over it. That's your compost working. These little white things here, these little strands, are all fungal strands. These guys consume the lignins and the cellulose and the woody material. These twigs and the heavy woody material, they consume all that or break it down and make their effluent available to the soil as your nutrients coming back in. This is gold.
There are 7 billion microorganisms in half a bucket of good soil. That's the same number of microbes as there are people on this planet. Although not apparent to the naked eye, a healthy soil is a dynamic living system that is teeming with life. It's this microscopic ecosystem that works to break down nutrients and make them available to your plants. But the microbes also suppress disease and help with the building of soil structure. This is the great unexplored and ignored ecosystem of our planet.
And of course the chemical companies laugh when they see the lineup of cars at the dump every week waiting to get rid of this stuff, because they know that that the people are going to have to replace this stuff with something chemical to make it happen. It's really sad. We've been hoodwinked for all of these years. Hoodwinked.
And for hundreds of years, we missed the significance of this ecosystem because of a simple quirk of history.
When soil scientists first started studying the soil, the stable humus fraction, all the woody material and the twiggy bits that would normally be there if it was under a bush setting, all those bits are no longer there. And they hadn't been for some time. The farms have been farmed maybe for 100 years without any woody material going back on them. So the scientists would not see or perceive the soil as having any need for woody material. It just wasn't there. They weren't studying it. And so when they started looking at their soil, they were looking at the elements only. What is the chemistry set that makes this thing up? Okay, let's play with it. helping a conventional grower friend, and he had a particular piece of soil that he could not get a good crop from it. And I did an assessment on it and suggested that he plant it out in lupins, black oats and mustard and chop it in just as it came to seed. And he did, just for a joke. And the following year he had the highest yield off that piece than he'd ever had in any part of his farm. And at that point he says, "It's so good, old mate, it's so good, we're just going to have to call you the dirt doctor." And that sort of stuck from there. But it's nice to have that recognition from the farming community as well. He became quite a good friend and started with the idea of him, him needing to change and finding that I had something that would help, and it was just such an easy remedy.
Moving from conventional farming to a biological approach would mean using fewer pesticides and fertilisers and a reduction in water needs. Not only that, farmers who took on Jim's approach could expect an impressive 20% increase in yields. If our soil had healthier microbial life, we wouldn't need to add anything to it. It's a world-changing lesson waiting to be learned from the home garden.
The message out there is really that your soil or your production systems are biological, living, breathing organisms. If you look after their life, they'll look after yours. And the more generous you are with the soil, the more it will return you. A little while ago we had some major earthquakes in Christchurch, and within 2 days there was nothing left in the supermarkets, there was nothing left in the service stations. All of the emergency supplies had just simply run out, they were gone. And people were hungry, they were out of food. If only they had even the smallest garden in their backyard, they had a survival kit at their back door. On a half an hour's work a week, using this method and these tools, you can feed a family of 4 right through the year when you're living in a temperate zone. It's really, really easy once you understand the principles of how your soil works and how it likes to eat. Nothing more. If you want to be happy for a few hours, drink wine until your head spins pleasantly. If you want to be happy for a couple of days, get married. Sequester yourself with your new husband or wife in a hotel. If you want to be happy for a week, kill a fatted pig and share it with your friends. But if you want to be happy for a life, one must become a gardener.